everybody. This record will help you to have an idea about Unit 4, which is the last unit in your program, feelings and emotions. Let's start by looking at some pictures. When we look at these pictures, we immediately understand that they are full of love, affection, tenderness, and gratitude. This kind of emotions that exist between parents and children, for example. Same thing between friends. There's lots of amusement, joy, and trust. These sensations that are experienced by the humans and that make people feel good are called positive emotions. In the next pictures, we see something different: sadness and anger. These emotions are negative. They can be difficult and painful at times. So we don't really need to be psychologists to guess what people feel. We just need to look at their faces. That's true that facial expressions can help us recognize their emotions and whether someone is feeling angry, disgusted, happy, sad, or fearful. So if you want to know more about emotions, let's study the following text and do the activities. Before we start studying the text, I advise you to stop this record and download the text, study it, do all the activities, and then come back to take the correction with me. Here is the text. Let's start with the first activity. Choose the most suitable title to this text. So is it A, positive emotions and their effects? B, the impact of feelings on human behavior? C, the good effect of humor? So if we look at the first title, positive emotions and their effects, this cannot be a good title since the text speaks also about negative emotions, not only about positive ones. Concerning C, the good effect of humor is mentioned in the text but only in one paragraph, so this cannot be a suitable title for the text. So the correct answer is B, the impact of feelings on human behavior. That is to say, the effect of these feelings on our comportment. Let's move to the second activity. Say whether the following statements are true or false according to the text. So you read carefully the sentences and decide whether the sentences are true or false. Let's correct them. For the first sentence, love encourages people to fight against each other. This is not true because according to the second paragraph, love encourages people to fight the largest challenges and not against each other. B, hatred prevents us from discovering our apparent abilities. This is true because in paragraph 3, it is said that people who fall victims of hatred cannot explore their positive sides of the personality or do not benefit the community with their hidden talents. The next one. The feeling of fear can provoke danger in our life. This is false because in paragraph 4 it is mentioned that fear can prove a good stimulus for giving us energy to face dangers and not provoking dangers. The last one. Humor prevents us from being happy in life. This is false because according to the last paragraph in the text, it says that humor brings joy and amusement to our existence. Activity 3 is about answering questions. How many emotions are described in the text? Which negative emotions are mentioned in the text? How does mercy manifest itself in our behavior? Which emotion has a double effect? How do experts justify their positive emotions about humor? So, for the first question, how many emotions are mentioned in the text? So you can see the first emotion is mentioned in paragraph 1, that is mercy. The second one is love, paragraph 2. The next one is hatred, which is in paragraph 3. And fear, another emotion. And the last one is humor. So you have 5. So among these 5 emotions, what are the negative ones? This is the second question. So mercy is positive, love is something positive, hatred, which is in paragraph 3, is negative. Now, even though you don't know the meaning of the word hatred, you can guess that it's something negative because all the description given in this paragraph is negative. So it speaks about inclination towards violence, distraction, and it turns people into wicked creatures. So you immediately understand that hatred is something negative. The other one, the other emotion that is negative here is fear, which is in paragraph 4. Humor is something positive. So you have only hatred and fear. The next question is, how does mercy manifest itself in our behavior? The answer to this question is in paragraph 1. Mercy generates in our nature acts of generosity. It means, how do you know if a person is merciful? If his acts are full of generosity. So let's move to the fourth question. Which emotion has a double effect? So the answer to this question is fear. Fear. So this is the only paragraph where the emotion has 2 sides, a positive one and a negative one. So the negative one first. When we feel afraid, we abandon all hope and let ourselves be gained by despair and inaction. This is something negative. In other words, it weakens our capacities. And then immediately after this you have, in some cases, however, you see, this is an opposition. So what comes after is positive. Fear might prove a good stimulus for releasing enough energy and face the harshest situations and so on. So fear has a double effect. Question E. How do experts justify their positive opinion about humor? The answer is in the last paragraph. So the experts here are psychologists. They claim that humor contributes to sustain our mental balance. This is their positive opinion. So what is the justification? It's here. Because it liberates our mind from the severe grips of reality. Here are the answers. There are 5 emotions mentioned in the text. The negative emotions mentioned in the text are fear and hatred. Mercy manifests in our behavior by generating in our nature acts of generosity. Fear is the emotion that has a double effect. And finally, their justification is that humor liberates our mind from the severe grips of reality. The fourth question in comprehension is to identify what or who the underlined words refer to in the text. We have there and it in paragraph 2 and the latter and there in paragraph 3. Let's see the correction. Neither their families nor nations will succeed to keep their stability. So their here refers to nations and nation. Of course, you don't need to keep the negations neither nor because the answer here should be positive. Families and nations. People find it hard to live without love. So what is hard in this sentence? It is to live without love. So it refers to the phrase to live without love. The reverse is true with hatred. The latter means the last element in the previous sentence, which is the opposite of the former, which is the first element in the sentence. So what is the last element in the previous sentence? Hatred. There, in this sentence, refers to the subject, the first subject of the sentence, the people who fall victims of hatred. So if you answer the people, of course, it might not be sufficient, because we need to specify who are these people. They are not all people, but especially the people who fall victims of hatred. So we have finished with comprehension. Let's start text exploration. The first task is about lexemes. Find in the text the words that are closest in meaning to the following words. So when they say closest in meaning, you understand immediately that we are talking about synonyms. Tendency in paragraph 3, give up in paragraph 4, hopelessness in paragraph 4. And then, another part of this activity, find in the text the words that are opposite in meaning to selfishness in paragraph 1 and love in paragraph 3. That's correct? So the meaning of helplessness is despair. So one technique to have a correct answer in this activity is to pay attention to the category of the word given. Is it a noun? Is it an adverb? Is it an adjective? And then you look for the same category for each of them. So as I said, hopelessness is the meaning of despair in paragraph 3. Tendency, to tend to do something, is an inclination. When you tend to do something, it means you are inclined to it. Give up, to give up is a verb, so to abandon is the meaning. Opposite words. What's the opposite of selfishness? It is generosity, because selfishness means egoism. Love is opposed to hatred as a noun. Task 2 is about vocabulary. So part A is about word classification and categorization. Let's read. Consider the following list of words and classify them according to the meaning they convey as being positive or negative. Then complete the table below. So the words are funny, stress, depressed, tragedy, humor, happy, hatred, worried, love, comedy, optimism, joy, pessimism, fear, mercy, and self-centeredness. So first of all, you classify these words as being positive and negative, and then you complete the table, complete each table with the missing category. Correction. The positive words in this list are funny, which is an adjective. The noun is fun. Humor is given as a noun. Its adjective is humorous. Love is a noun. Lovely, its adjective. Comedy is given as a noun. Comic is the adjective. The noun optimism has optimistic as adjective. Happy is an adjective. Happiness is its noun. Joy as a noun. Joyful for the adjective. Mercy as a noun. Merciful is the adjective. Concerning the negative words, you have the adjective depressed, whose noun is depression. Stress as a noun. Stressful or stressed as an adjective. Self-centeredness is the noun. Self-centered is its adjective. Tragedy and tragic as an adjective. Worried is the adjective. The noun is worry. Fear is a noun. Its adjective is fearful. Hatred is the noun for the adjective hated. Pessimistic is the adjective for the noun pessimism. Question B in morphology is about word building. Let's consider the following example from the text. So when the writer spoke about fear, he says it weakens our capacities. So weaken here is a verb. that was built up with the adjective weak plus en as a suffix to get the verb weaken. So as a follow-up, let's study the following passage carefully and classify the underlined words in the following table. Laughing helps you to strengthen your muscles. It enlightens your soul with positivity. It also softens your mood. An example is given in this table. Weaken is the word to divide. So there is no prefix in this word. The root is weak, which is an adjective, and en is the suffix. You just do the same with the other words. Let's correct them. Strengthen has no prefix. The root is strength, it's a noun. En is the suffix. Enlightens. There's a prefix, which is en. Light as a root, it's a noun. And en and s are two suffixes for this verb. Softens. There's no prefix. Soft as an adjective, and en and s as suffixes. Activity C. Form the verbs of the following adjectives by adding en, then fill in the blanks with the right verbs. The adjectives given are broad, deep, short, dark, weak, rough, soft, and bright. Just form the verbs by adding the suffix en and then fill in the gaps. The correction is, some comedians broaden our spirits, means widen our spirits and minds. When you watch a funny movie or a TV show, it can brighten our emotional lives, make it bright. Many doctors say that feeling sad may shorten our existence, and darken our mood. More importantly, while hardships or difficulties roughen our lives, humor softens them. Task 3 is about grammar. Rewrite the second sentences so that they mean the same as the first ones. Here are the sentences. So some of them are transformations from direct to indirect speech, some others are expressing obligation and advice, so it's a revision for you. Let's correct them. The first sentence is given in the indirect speech, so you have to turn it into the direct one. Psychologists say, put a comma and open the inverted commas, humor contributes to sustain our mental balance. You can notice that the verb doesn't change. It is kept in the present simple. Why? Because simply say here, the introductory verb is in the present, so you don't need to change the tenses of the verbs. Sentence 2. Sentence 2 is in the direct speech, so you need to turn it into the reported one. They said that neither families nor nations would succeed to keep their stability without love. You notice that there is a change in the verb from future simple to conditional present. Why? Because simply the introductory verb is in the past, said. So from future simple to conditional present. Would plus stem. Sentence 3. You ought to be more careful when you choose a friend. So this sentence expresses advice with ought to. When you transform it, you can use anything else that expresses the same function. Had better or should be more careful when you choose a friend. Sentence 4. How do we make friends? He wanted to know. So this is a question in a direct speech. When you turn it into the indirect speech, you say he wanted to know how we made friends. As you can see, we keep how as an interrogative pronoun, then it should be followed by the subject, and then the verb that is conjugated in the past simple. Why the past simple? Because our sentence is in the present. Do, make. So in reported speech, in transformations from direct to indirect speech, all the present tenses become past and all the past tenses remain past. Next sentence. Everyone is obliged to respect others' feelings. The sentence expresses obligation, and the models that can serve this function are has to or must. Say, everyone has to respect or must respect others' feelings. Hurting someone isn't allowed. So this sentence expresses prohibition, something that is not allowed, it is not permitted. We mustn't hurt anyone. So you can see that we have used the model mustn't to express obligation, and someone becomes anyone because our sentence is negative and the negation precedes the word anyone. It is advisable to see a psychologist whenever you feel sad or lonely. It is advisable expresses advice. So you had better or ought to or should see a psychologist whenever you feel sad and lonely. This is everything for grammar. Task 4 is about sound system. Underline the silent letter in each of the following words. Let's correct. Honorable. So the silent letter here is the mute H in the initial position. Frighten, the silent letter is the GH before the T. Exhibition, the silent letter is the H after the X. Soften, the silent letter is the T after the F. Rhyme, the silent letter is the H after the R. Psychologists, you got two silent letters, P in the beginning and the H after the C. Psychologists. Ordering sentences so as to get a coherent paragraph. So something that can help you to have a correct answer in this kind of activities is capitalization and punctuation. So which sentences here are start with a capital letter? As you can see, the B and the D. So you have eliminated C and A. Now, which one of the two can be the first one? Let's try to read. Here we have to resort to meaning. The great majority of them would rather let all of it out. So as you can see, there is a proform or a reference word, so we don't know who are they, so this sentence cannot be the first. Necessarily, it is D. Few Americans consider it bad to show anger in public. There's a full stop at the end. So necessarily there should be something that starts with a capital letter, and it is B. The great majority of them would rather let all of it out. There is no capital letter, the sentence is continuing. So this can be A or it can be C. Again, you have to resort to meaning. Let's try with A and say what they feel, then bottle it up inside. Let's see all the sentences together. The great majority of them would rather let all of it out and say what they feel, then bottle it up inside. So rather than go together. This sounds good. So the answer is D, B, A, and C. written expression. So in back exams, you are asked to choose one of the following topics, but I advise you to do the two topics at home. Topic 1. It is said that men and women do not express their feelings and emotions in the same way in both happy and sad occasions. So you will have to write a newspaper article of about 80 to 100 words in which you compare between them. Use the following notes. Men are described as being introvert, which means they hide their feelings. They have self-control. They don't panic whenever there is a sad event or an accident or a disaster. And this helps them to have the possibility to protect their family members and show more concern and even offer help to the people around them. In the contrary, women are described as being extrovert. This means that they show their feelings easily. They are not ashamed to cry. They express their sadness in public. They lose self-control when there is a disaster. And they are not ashamed to kiss each other and also to hug. Okay, so you start by writing an introduction that should be stated from the topic itself, and then you can write two paragraphs, one for the description of men and the other one for the description of women. Don't forget to use connectors, link words that express addition, because you will need to add IDs, similar IDs to others. Also express opposition since you are comparing, and don't forget to finish your work with an introduction, a conclusion, sorry. Topic 2. This one is a free topic. Parents are responsible for teaching their children ethics. Write a speech of about 80 to 100 words in which you explain how important this is to make them contribute to build an orderly and peaceful society.
شكرا على المشاهدة. لا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة، الضغط على الجرس، الإعجاب بالفيديو.